Touchdown.
College football is now B1G versus SEC.
Down. Hook.
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
Oh, Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works. That's it, Andy. That's how it works, man. They can disagree with us or don't, right?
That's right. We're here. We're back. Football season's upon us. Let's go.
Yeah, week one college football. We had week 0 last week. And I didn't really tweet out any picks on that or post any picks on that. And thank God I didn't, because I tell you what, didn't go well for me.
Yeah, you were on Florida State.
I was on Florida. I was on both. So I had Georgia Tech and the points, but that didn't hit for a whole lot of money. And then I tried to play it right in between, right? And then I tried it I needed Florida State to win by 7. And when they lost the game, my money bets were gone. But that game didn't really kill me because I played it smart both ways. I had parlays going both ways. The SMU game killed me.
Yeah, that was a bad one for me too. That was the one. I love this SMU team too, and I just thought they would just blitz Nevada, but no, they didn't.
No. If you remember down the stretch last year too, like SMU was one of our go-tos. Like every week, take them to cover, take them with the points. You know what I mean? Like they were cashing in for us last year. Yeah. This year, not so much.
Nah, it didn't go well. But I'm. It's early, and I'm not. You're not running. Nobody's running me off SMU yet, so I'm gonna hang.
No. They'll be able to put up points. They're going to be pretty good. They jumped to the ACC this year. This is their first year in, right? They don't have to wait till next year.
I think it's Big 12.
Oh, I thought they jumped to the ACC coming up. That's probably next year, maybe then.
I don't know. I don't remember. It's so confusing now to remember where everybody is.
They're changing day to day. Day to day.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I think it's the ACC. You're right.
ACC. Right. That's what I thought. So they've got some tough games this year. So we'll have to see how they adapt. We'll tread lightly on SMU. But lot to get to this week, my friend. We're going to be throwing out our AFC looks for, conference winners, over-under win totals. What's your value there for betting? That'll be coming up on the back end of All Right Bet on the second half of the show today. We'll also be giving you our week 1 college bets like we do all the time. And all of this is just to get you guys warmed up as we gear up for the Big 6 picks starting next week, Andy.
Yeah, it's going to be good, man. We're going to we're going to win. That's the whole mindset. Is it's like we're at 0-0, and just every week we just want to be better. And so we go 3-2. That's a win week, or 1-0 in the week.
That's a win week, guys. That's right. It's all about money, and Andy is dead right. It's all about money. And just to bring you guys up to speed, because like we've been saying, last year was about branding. This year's about expanding. We got a lot more eyeballs on us now. So let me bring you new listeners up to speed. Every single week, we're gonna have a guest picker on the show. Andy and I will be featuring 3 NFL games and 3 college football games. Those 6 games will be picked between myself, Andy, and the guest picker, and that will be our running contest for the year. We'll also be giving you other picks, guys, on the front half of the show. We will be giving you other games that we like to bet on, but those Big 6 picks are the thing. And at the end of last year, 17 weeks of 6 games a week, I finished the season at almost 58%. Andy was right behind me, I think, at like 56%, and the guest pickers were at like 55%. Guys, that's money.
Yeah, it's winning.
That's winning. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, I think generally, if you can hit around 60%, you're going to be okay.
Yeah. If you can, man, if we can climb up to 60%, you're making money. You're making money gambling, and anybody that is honest with themselves and listens to this show, that is not always the case.
No, you're gonna take some. Your big losses can't be too big, right? That's the
thing. That's the thing. Chip away, and that's what we like to do. So hey, let's get right into it. The front half of the show, because we're gonna be busy on All Right Bet. Let's do a couple of quick hits. Now, Andy, I got to ask you about this one quickly. Kansas City Chiefs, they signed Juju Smith-Schuster at the end of training camp and bring him off the couch. What do you make of that? You're the Chiefs guy.
I like it. They're not going to ask Juju they got too many good receivers now, or guys who are faster than Juju, right? They got Brown, they got Worthy, Rashee Rice. Like, they got dudes who could fly. Juju's going to run about 5 yards, turn around. He's just going to be a little outlet if Mahomes needs him. He's going to take a beating. He's going to be fine. They got rid of Tony. He's basically like a little tight end. He's a little faster tight end, maybe not faster than the Chiefs tight end, but that's all his position is. And
yeah,
I don't think they're going to use Juju much. They also don't have to explain much of the playbook to him. Not a lot has changed over the last 2 years. So for the money they got him, and just probably for 1 year, it's like it's like when you watch these movie directors always bringing in the same dudes for each movie because they know how they work. This is all this is, right? This is all this is. But Andy Reid's just bringing Juju in. He's probably going to get about 500 yards. If he gets more than that, it seems like it's great. But if he even gets 500, right, he's just going to be there just a little bit here and there. So
yeah, I'll take the under on the 500.
Yeah, it's smart for sure. I think it's smart. It's why the Chiefs are probably the best organization in football.
Yeah,
they just build around Mahomes.
Yeah,
this will make Mahomes happy.
I would just say it's a tiny bit disheartening that you're trying to rotate some of these younger guys in to develop them and bring them along during the course of the season. And at the end of training camp, you got to go back to Juju. Little disheartening, but you're 100% right. At the end of the day, means nothing to the Kansas City Chiefs. It's good to have a guy on the bench they can just plug in and trust.
I also think it means that the Sky Moore era in Kansas City is over, right? Because that's kind of Sky Moore's position, and clearly they don't trust him enough to get that done. So, they're like, we'll just bring in a guy we do trust. And Sky, if you're good, great. If you're not going to be on the team next year anyway. So
Sky Moore, Western Michigan Bronco product of the MAC. Looks like he is out in Kansas City. I'll agree with you there, buddy. All right, I don't know how long-winded we need to get on this, but it needs to be dissected. Now, the Cowboys finally signed CeeDee Lamb. They give him $136 million. They give him $100 million guaranteed, $38 million signing bonus, which is the highest by a wide receiver in the history of the league. What does this mean for Dak, man?
Well, it puts the Cowboys. That means Dak's going to get his bag, first off, whether it's here or the Raiders or the Giants, or one of those teams, he's going to get paid, and Dallas has kind of put itself behind the 8 ball a little bit, right? Because ultimately, if you can sign Lamb for this awesome money, and congrats to CeeDee Lamb, but if you cannot throw the ball to Lamb,
right,
in the next 4 years, and then we're looking at a bad deal. So
it makes no sense to put the horse before the cart. Or the cart before the horse. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You always want to put the horse before the cart.
You always want to put the horse before the cart. And they did not do that in this case. I mean, Dak being the horse. Listen, you got to have the quarterback to throw the damn guy the ball. What are you doing given the big give Dak Prescott a huge amount of money, or or he's going to leave, and then you're sitting there with the high-paid wide receiver and nobody throwing the ball. I mean, this is just bad for the Cowboys.
Sure, but I also think the Cowboys are kind of under the assumption, and I don't think they're wrong, is that they will get somebody to come quarterback for them, right? Like, they will. They're the Dallas Cowboys. It's probably like Mount Rushmore of teams you want to be the quarterback of. They're up there, and it's the Dallas Cowboys. So that I think they're, the pressure that they feel is probably high, but also there's probably a part of them which is like, we'll get somebody. I'm not too worried about it, right? Next year they'll get rid of McCarthy. They'll bring in Deion Sanders as head coach, and then they'll find a way to draft Shedeur Sanders, and then they're off to the races.
Well, if that's their plan, that's Cowboys all the way. I mean, that's that's Cowboys all the way, driving a garbage truck up to empty cans. That's all that is right there. I mean, go for it then, I guess. But listen, it makes me happy. It warms my heart because I can't stand the Cowboys. But just a bad move. Like, what if you don't get Shedeur and Deion and that whole thing? What if you roll again with McCarthy, or you get a new coach, right? Now you got to bring in, with all this money you're spending everywhere on the defense and with these receivers and stuff, you need to bring in a veteran quarterback. You're not in a place where you're going to grab a quarterback early, right? Now, what veteran quarterback is going to go, well, let me go to Dallas and play well for a year, and then I'll get my bag? There's no money left, bro.
Well, they just trade for Cousins, right? Like, it's not impossible, right? When they call Atlanta and be like, we'll give you a number 2. We'll take Cousins' contract. You guys play Penix next year. And guess what Atlanta's doing? Atlanta's trading Cousins. Like, it's not the end of the world, right? The Cowboys will find a way. They are $1 billion company. right? That we'll make sure it happens. There's a lot of answers. Maybe the Jets get tired of Rodgers at the end of the year. Guess who will come play for the Cowboys for the year? Aaron Rodgers, right? So it's not out of the realm. Uh-oh.
No,
there
what
we
the
go.
heck happened there?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway,
yeah,
I'll have to edit that up. We had a little miscue there.
Little glitch in the
Matrix. Glitch. Yeah, a little glitch in the Matrix there. But anyway.
Is it you or me? That's my question.
All right, let's talk 2 seconds about the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
They make a move to go out and trade for Malik Willis. They bring in Malik Willis to make him the backup to Jordan Love. Yep. What the hell's going on in training camp up there that you needed to bring in this hot mess?
Style of play. Just like the Commanders did with Mariota and Daniels, right? You don't want Mariota playing. You don't want Willis playing, but a mobile quarterback who fits into the system, right? You don't want to go from Jordan Love back up to Jordan Love to, Nick Mullins. You probably don't want to do that, right? Mullins is a little too in the pocket for what Green Bay is going to try to do. Kind of tells me that Green Bay wants to move Love around, get him out, roll, run. And, if they get Willis, he's free. If Willis plays, Green Bay's toast. So
yeah, they are for real toast now. I love this move. I'm like, boy, if Jordan Love gets a deep calf bruise, that's going to be 4 straight losses for the Packers. I mean, this guy was an overreach during the draft. He threw one crazy pass on somebody's iPhone before the combine, shot him way up the charts because everybody thinks they're getting the next Lamar Jackson. You're not. This is, and then like in 1 year, the Titans are like, no, give me a number 1 first round draft pick at quarterback and let's get rid of this guy. And then the Packers are like, yeah, give me him. Good luck. What? Like what? I don't even understand, man. I don't get it. Anyway,
just a backup. He'll never play, hopefully.
But I don't understand burning all the way through training camp, and at the end of camp, you got nobody you trust so bad that you got to go to Malik Willis. There's trouble in the QB room up there. I mean, that's bad. That's bad news.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, I'll tell you something we both do enjoy before we move it on to knock it off, and that is the official beverage of the DWMOD podcast. And you know what's coming, buddy.
Brass monkey, that funky monkey. Brass monkey, chunky.
Monkeys got Brass Monkeys. The tailgates are coming up. Get you some Brass Monkeys going. Forget the champagne and all them early morning mimosas and getting that heartburn and all that. Enjoy yourself a nice Brass Monkey. You got to get the official beer choice of the DWMOD podcast, Old English 800, and put a little splash of orange juice in there and you're off to the races for a great day, man.
Right. Beautiful cup too. That beautiful Lions cup just right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Choice. Just waiting to get filled up. I hope that Super Bowl cup runneth over, my friend. We will see. Well, let's move on to probably both of our favorite segments of the show here with our friend Knock It Off.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right, I'm going to keep the first one short for you baseball fans out there. Anybody who thinks that the Los Angeles Dodgers are making a run to and winning the World Series this year, you are on a lot of drugs, my friend. No chance. No chance, man. I mean, what do you think, man?
No chance. You don't think they're going to make it? You don't think they'll beat the Phillies?
No chance. This team has no pitching, cannot trust its bullpen, and the hitting is streaky at best. Look, you're going to turn on ESPN and you're going to see Shohei 40 for 40 and he's hitting for a decent air. They got guys in that lineup that are strikeout kings, that are home run or bust. They got guys like Muncy in the line, terrible. They had some young kids playing good early. They don't now. Mookie Betts, kind of a slumpy season for him. I hate to say that because he's hitting almost 300, and you don't do that in baseball anymore. But I think he doesn't even have 20 home runs right now, maybe. at 21 or something like that. He's not hitting the ball the way he was. Freddie Freeman's been hurt. He's not playing well, and he's got some family things going off the field. I wish him well with that. But this team is living and dying by the Ohtani long ball, and they do not have the pitchers to hold anybody off the scoreboard. If I could bet against it, I'd put $1 million on it.
Yeah, that and history in the last few years. This is what the Dodgers have done, right? Like they've been very good, and then they go away in the playoffs.
Yep. They fade real quickly in the playoffs, and I think you're looking at the same thing here. And they spent $500 million on 2 players in the offseason.
Right. That's bad. I kind of like the Padres, by the way.
Yeah. Padres are very interesting, especially Dylan Cease gets rolling. He's been pitching well. I mean, they could really get going. I like the the Padres. I got a little side bet on the Padres. The Diamondbacks have been red hot. They're running down this division, it looks like right now. I don't even know if the Dodgers can hold on to the division.
Right. Which again might not be a bad thing for the Dodgers. Fight their way through the playoffs. Let's see what they do.
No. And I tell you, I told you guys before on the show, I think a sneaky little team for me in the NL playoffs is the Milwaukee Brewers. They have timely pitching. They're crafty. They move runners around. They put the ball in play. They don't have a lot of big bombers. They did lose Yelich for the season, but he'd been hurt all year, wasn't playing well anyway. Right. This is a team that can sneak 3-4 runs on the board and hold you off. So I don't know. I kind of like the Brewers' chance of being sneaky there, but we'll see about that. Listen, much like the Harris Walls campaign, Andy, we're not going back. I don't know why I did quick hits there. We're not going back.
We're not going back.
We're going back. We're moving on. We're moving on to knock it off, and this is going to be the big one here. We're gonna get into this one deep here.
All right, everyone, time to do me a favor and knock it off.
This may be my knock it off of the year. Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffalo football program. I'm officially out and officially fed up. I'm done. And I wasn't one of these guys early that's a Deion hater. At first, I was like everybody else. I was like, oh, this could be really good for college football. Deion's, he's great. He's going to do what he did at Jackson State. And then I started looking into everything. And now I'm in a place where I'm like, no, this is all smoke and mirrors and trash. They ban CB. They had the CBS ban for whatever his tiff was there. I've heard 5 different versions of what it might be. None of us know. Then they officially banned the reporter out of Colorado who covers the team. They're not going to answer any of his questions because he's been too hard on Deion.
Right.
Like, because he's used terms like deposition Deion and called him a false prophet. And now, first of all, Deion has created this world of catchphrases, and it's all for the gram and Showtime and fireworks and stars on the sideline. And then you're going to get on the media that's surrounding this thing for not covering it like it's the Reagan Mondale election. You're going to get on them for getting whipped up and getting into giving nicknames and monikers and doing stuff to grab headlines for the gram. How are you going to do that?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I just don't think Deion's long for the college world, and I think these kids they know that, right? I think they know it, and they're like, why would I invest a possibility of going to Colorado when you're going to leave in a year? Then I got to go through this whole transfer portal,
Yeah.
Next couple years, he's going to coach in the NFL, in my opinion. I think I said it last year. Mike McCarthy leaves, he coaches the Dallas Cowboys. This is what I think is going to happen. It just seems like too obvious to me. But I just don't think, I'm with you. Colorado's he's having a hard. Colorado's going to be like 5-7.
Yeah, this is a team whose over/under win total from Vegas this year is 5.5, and everybody acts like this guy's the second coming of Nick Saban.
Right.
And then it's like the Trump camp over there. Now he's sitting there like, anybody that's not deadly loyal and tells me I'm the greatest, you're out. I'm not talking to you. You're out of the room. Anybody says anything against me, I'll burn you down at your newspaper. Like, this whole thing to me, the only thing he's brilliantly done is change the conversation from how bad your team's going to be again to which reporters are banned and what's happening outside the building.
Right.
I mean, if you will. You know what I mean? That's the only thing he's done. And you hit the nail right on the head a few minutes ago with the turnover in the program. Like everybody wanted to like clap and jump out of their chairs for Deion as he was changing the college football landscape in his first year, because he came in and told all those other student athletes, hey, hit the bricks. You suck. You ain't good enough. Beat it. You're out of here. Cut their scholarships and got rid of them and brought in all new kids. I was not one of the people that championed that. That's bullshit. And then number two, this guy from jump has acted like this is all about the kids and I just want to give and I'm just it's all wonderful for all these kids. No, that's the biggest bunch of bullshit. The second batch of kids that he brought in, the ones that replaced the first batch, they had a turnover rate of I think like 58%. Like more than half of these guys after 1 year were like, I'm out of here, because if you ain't number 1 or 2 on the depth chart, they don't even know your name. They're getting rid of you. They're cutting your scholarship, telling you hit the portal. Deion is treating college football like the NFL, and it's not fair at all. It's a terrible, terrible thing because, and I'm going to get long-winded on this. It's a terrible thing because a lot of these kids that he needs to be involved with, if he really wants to help the kids, it's about developing the kids that are not the 5-star players, right? This isn't about how many 5 stars I can get in out of the portal so that I look good, so that I'm winning games. This ain't about helping Shador get drafted. This ain't about the Travis Hunters of the world. If you really want to help kids and make a change in their lives, Deion, you would be doing what you have the ability to do, and that's nurture all the rest of these kids that aren't 5 stars, teach them, coach them up, because the money for them is not going to be in the NFL. But the money for them can be in that scholarship, getting a free degree, and leaving school with whatever NIL money he can get them by developing them. And then those kids take that NIL money and those degrees back to their neighborhoods, back to their, you know what I mean? Back to their environment and their families. And that's how you change lives for kids in college football. This ain't about the kids. This has been about Deion from minute one.
Yeah, I think Deion's got, he needs to get 6 or 7 wins. Right, like all the stuff that's being said about him too would be much easier on Deion if he was winning 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
And he's just not, and like they're going to do the same thing they probably did last year. They're going to roll teams early, and they're going to actually play real college football teams, and then they're going to trouble.
Yeah, they're going to be. I've got a little bit of money on North Dakota State beating them in the opener. Why not? I hope they do. Because this ain't about the kids. Deion is a false prophet, is about the best thing that guy could have said, but he should have coined him correctly. He should have called him Deacon Deion, because he's all about hitting the pulpit with his promises and collecting the collection plate, and nothing in the community is improving at all. It's all about him, man. I'm burnt out on Deion. I'm out hard, bro.
All right.
That was
Deion. I did.
I just, you know me, man. I do not like when people try to hit the pulpit of college football and act like, oh, this is about the kids and it's about the kids. Meanwhile, you're screwing over 90% of the kids and you're focused on nothing but your 4 and 5 star kids. Those kids are going to the NFL anyway. And even if they don't or don't have a long career there, they're cashing in on this NIL like you wouldn't believe. Their lives are already changed, man. Make a difference in the other 80% of the football team that you promised moms and dads in their living rooms you were going to do. He's bullshit, man. I'm out on Deion.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
Whew, I had to calm down after that one a little bit, Andy. I know I was kind of putting you in the corner there. You don't want to get too much on agreeing with that. People come down on you, but
no, look, hey, Deion riles people up. This is what he's going to do in the NFC East next year.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Because when he gets to the NFL, he doesn't get to tell everybody pack up and then I'll go grab the next All-Pro. Guess what, Deion? He's already on a contract with somebody else and there's no transfer portal.
Right.
You're going to have to do some coaching. Somebody else is picking your players at that level. I think he'll be an abysmal failure as an NFL coach. Abysmal.
Look at you. You're just still going in on Deion.
I am.
He's going to ban you from that when you go and try to interview him.
Well, hey. If he's got the balls to come on DWMOD, buddy, I'll hold his feet to the fire. We can have a conversation. How many great players have ever turned into great coaches at the pro level?
There's not many,
handful.
Larry Bird comes to mind. He was a pretty good coach.
Right.
I guess it depends what you think of Steve Kerr. So you think of him. But there's not many, ultimately, not many.
No. And I can't think of one super ego that has ever done it.
No, those guys have a hard time.
Yeah, he'll be a failure. Anyways, before we jump in, let's jump in. You know what? Let's just jump right into all right bet, man. We got a lot to
Wait,
get
I
to
thought you
there.
had one more. Knock it off.
No, that was it, man. I was going
That
long-winded
was
on
it.
Deion.
Okay. Wow.
No,
You wanted to close when you knew you got to
yeah,
close.
I wanted to close on Deion, man. What a
Okay.
clown he is. We got to get to all right bet. There's a lot to get to. It's time for another episode of All Right Bet. All right, man. Just to start off, All Right Bet, I got a new tiny segment. Should only take about 60 seconds every week. And we are calling this one. There it is. If you could see it, we are calling this one the ULM report, buddy.
Let's do it.
There it is. There it is. You see there, man? Just one more time for everybody. Bam!
Yeah.
Where's Jackson State this weekend? As many of you may know, my son Nolan Wilson he hit the portal last year. He's playing at Grambling State. Now he's playing at University of Louisiana Monroe. The opener is Thursday night. We'll be there playing Jackson State. They haven't put a lineup on this thing yet, Andy, but it's not going to be enough points to scare me away. I'm jumping on ULM with the new regime, the new coach. All the portal guys are in. Let's go.
I've got to be honest. I don't know anything about ULM, so I'm gonna follow you. If what is the spread? Do you think it's gonna be like 20?
I don't think it'll be that much.
10?
I don't know. This is a team that won 2 games last year, but they've had a complete turnover.
Gotcha.
So it's a little bit of a rebuild. I'll expect the guys to be excited, though. Word from inside camp is that the guys are energized and the defense looks really solid. And they're going to be ready to go. They're going to come out fired up for the home opener, and Jackson State is a team they should beat. I'm taking the points. I'm taking
ULM. Is that the Red Hawks?
Warhawks.
Warhawks. Okay.
The Warhawks. Yeah, take another look at this helmet they have for this year.
Yeah, let's see it. That's pretty sweet, actually.
that is a sweet helmet, man. It's like the front of an old World War II plane. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Pretty cool. But we'll be doing the ULM report every week. Quick 60 seconds. Who they're playing, how they're doing, breaking them down, man. Let's go, Warhawks.
Go Hawks.
All right. Let's jump into a little NCAA football on the tail of the Warhawks there. Some games that you like in the first week here. And I will tell you one thing I am not doing right off the rip. I'm not jumping on any of these 40 or 50 point spreads. I'm just not week one. No.
Yeah, generally for me in week one is a very slow week. I'm not getting too crazy. It's a little bit. I got to kind of see it. I got to kind of wait until the shallow end, a little bit for me. But I'll give you a Thursday game. Talk that a Thursday game I think is interesting, which is I kind of like UNC at -1.5, 2. They were the dog for a little while.
They were.
So that always makes me a little nervous. Dogs to favorites, right?
Yes.
I get a little scared off by that. But I think I like UNC. Though UNC's, I think this year doing 2 quarterbacks, and I never like 2 quarterbacks. They're going to play 2 quarterbacks in the game. It's very hard. So gets me to the real bet I like, which is the under in that game. The under at 50 and a half. Just a reminder, last year, these 2 teams played. Drake May was the quarterback. The final score of the game, 31-14. I think Minnesota wants to run the ball. I think North Carolina is going to have some running. I think, even in week 0, we saw these new headsets with the quarterbacks. It slowed the game down. Nobody's used to it yet, especially teams that are playing for the first time. It's going to slow the game down early till they get used to it, which tells me the under is an interesting choice here at 50 and a half. So I'm leaning under more than anything in this game. But if I would also take North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Another coach that I'm not fond of because he's a me guy is that PJ Fleck up there in Minnesota. I hope he loses every game. The whole thing's always about him as well. And you see what happens with guys in programs like this. His first year was real good. Guys bought in, and then everybody realized quickly it's about him, and now they've faded quick. I did jump on UNC when they were +1.5, like you said, and I put that in a teaser. So I've got UNC plus a touchdown. I'm feeling good about that.
That seems like a good bet. I like that. You did at the teasing perfectly this year. I'm hoping you've learned your teaser lesson. I've been banging on this for about 4 years. So, outside of you really should have never teased college football. But if I just let that slide, at least you're teasing at the plus 1.5 up, which I appreciate. Like
Buckle up.
You wouldn't want to tease North Carolina right now. That's my general point.
Hey, buckle up. There's going to be some line crossing here, buddy.
I don't like it. Don't do it. Don't do what Mikey's telling you guys to do it with the line cross.
All right, let's jump onto this next game. I already mentioned North Dakota State at Colorado. North Dakota State getting 10. Give me that 10 points right now.
Well, yeah, sure. I think it's a good bet. I just don't know what to expect out of North Dakota State, to be honest, because I do think I know you just had a 45-minute diatribe against Coach Sanders, Coach Prime. If Deion gets a chance, though, to put it on him, he's going to put it on him. You're going to have to be very – this is one of those games I'm like, I'm not sure I'm going to get a part of this thing because I have no idea. Because it goes one of two ways, right? It's either North Dakota State kicks a field goal to win the game or Colorado wins by 40. And I don't like either side of it.
Full disclosure, I am rocking the teaser on this. So I got 17 on North Dakota State, but I am on a little side bet for $5. I took North Dakota State to win outright and South Dakota State to beat Oklahoma State, 2-team parlay. And I think the $5 on that ends up paying out at like 45 or $50. So I'm in on that.
Yeah, why not? Did you round robin it? Did you take the money line?
I took the money line just on both teams. Just 2-teamer money line, win the game. Sure. Because listen, let's jump to that other one really quick. I'll expect North Dakota to just try to slow the thing down, play a little bully ball, run the football. That's what they're going to try to do. But let's jump to that South Dakota State, Oklahoma State game, because I just mentioned it. Now that is also a 9.5 spread. South Dakota State getting 9.5. Now, for you guys that are unfamiliar, they are the back-to-back FCS champions. They had so many guys on their roster that FBS schools were coming after in the transfer portal. And it's been a big story in the offseason. These guys banded together and were like, nah, we're staying right here at South Dakota State and playing football. And these guys didn't leave. These guys can play. And I'm going to tell you this about Oklahoma State from experience. That's my squad, Central Michigan Chippewas. I'm a diehard on them. The last couple of years, they 3 years ago, they've opened with Oklahoma State, and they played them at Oklahoma State. They beat them one year, and they took them down to the wire in the other. Oklahoma State notoriously opens slow at home. They are not going to come out and blow anybody out in the opener. They're just not. And the wrong team to jump up against, who I think this South Dakota State team is good, and they're primed for the upset here. Take the points.
Yeah, I think this Oklahoma State team is good. I like the running back. I think they got the quarterback figured out. But to your point, the one thing about Oklahoma State and Gundy is he does not care about non-conference games. They don't what Oklahoma State recent years. You're saying they come out slow. I'm saying Gundy doesn't show his cards, and he doesn't care about the non-conference. When they get into conference play, they go 6-2. That's when he cares. So this is a time to be, if you're backing Oklahoma State, be very careful. If anything, this is a kind of a nice little tease down to get under a field goal. I would maybe go Oklahoma State there. I think it's a kind of a no-lose teaser. You can tease either way. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
But look, again, I know it's a betting show and I'm not betting, but this game scares me off a little bit. I'm not sure where I would lean.
Yeah, so, a lot of people probably staying away from this one.
Yeah. But I might take Oklahoma State, but I would be wary. I just don't know what Oklahoma State team's showing up. I don't know if Gundy's going to be like, hey, guys, we're going to run playbook A. We're not going to run a real playbook. We're going to save that for Utah, Kansas State. He very
well could do that, man. He could. Now, like you just pointed out, this is a betting show, so I don't like to talk about things I'm not betting on, but I do got to give a shout out to my Michigan folks here. University of Michigan and Michigan State fans this weekend, unless you are planning to tease this thing at a 7-point tease, stay away from FAU MSU. I do not know what Michigan State's going to look like this year. I may dabble on a teaser. I may tease them down to a touchdown, but I'm not jumping on this team. They've been really bad. And Michigan, a complete overhaul, all the offseason noise, the Netflix Connor Stallions thing, the complete turnover. The whole offensive line's gone. Your receivers are gone. Your all-time running back's gone. Your quarterback's gone. Everybody's gone. And Fresno State, they're the dogs, but they ain't no dog. This is a team that plays tough against bigger opponents. I'm not taking a 21 point. No way. I'm not laying 21. No.
Well, let me speak to this. Here we go. I am on Sparty at -14. I think FAU
Okay.
is going to be really bad. That Oregon State coach, who I think for the last 2 years, who came to Sparty, is awesome.
He's a
a
good coach.
great coach. He's going to be a good coach, right? Oregon State the last few years have been really good, and they've been really good quickly. Sparty is that team, that area is kind of dying for a good team. Now, if you remember what Oregon State did the last few years,
Yeah.
they were really good at running the football. Run, and they just ran teams out of the gym. I think FAU is going to be really bad. I like Sparty -14.
Okay.
I think you do it. I think it's opening day. I think this coach is going to run. I think Sparty's going to run all over FAU.
All right. You might have me sold. Again, we do this every year.
The other one is, Michigan. Look, I don't love Michigan this year. I think they're going to be a little down. I also think Fresno State is by name alone always feisty, but I don't think this team's going to be feisty. I think Fresno State's going to be kind of bad. I think it's going to be a little overrated Fresno State team. I would lean to the Michigan side, especially home opener, national title, first game back. Crowd's going to be crazy. Don't see them coming in there and laying an egg. I just don't see it. I think the new coach will have that. New coach is fine. He's not even really new. He beat Ohio State last year.
Yeah.
He can control expectations. Like,
but Michigan is
times.
also notorious for something you just hit on in the last game. Early on non-conference games, they're not trying to show much. They don't care about blowing anybody out. They know they just got to handle business in the Big Ten, especially now they're in the 12-team playoff. They're not looking to hang 50 on anybody. And last year with the national championship team early against non-conference opponents, they weren't covering 28-point spreads. They were winning games 35-17. Like they're content on getting up to 21 and then sitting around and let Fresno get a touchdown and a field goal and get out of there.
Well, here's the other thing too. It makes me kind of want to either not play it or do go on Fresno, take the points. Is next week is Texas, and you know what? Michigan's probably is going to play it a little closer to the vest because Texas comes in, and that is a huge game for Michigan, especially because they need to win that game. It's at home.
For sure.
They lose that game, then they're gonna. If they lose Ohio State and they lose Oregon, there's a lot of chances to see some losses there. So
there is. Yep.
Maybe we just cut out what I was saying earlier and take Fresno plus 21.
All right, let's jump to what's going to be the game of the week here. Clemson plus 13.5 against Georgia. They're playing at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. This is a little bit of a tough one because Georgia likes to play with their food. They don't like to show stuff early. They'll be, again, more content to get up, 21-10 and sit on the damn thing. Burned them in the SEC championship game against Alabama, the way they just try to control and sit. But I'll expect them to not do that. I think this thing could get ugly. I'm on this thing at 13.5, and I've got Georgia also on just about every multiple teaser I'm playing, teasing them down to 6.5 all day.
I'm on Clemson.
Oh.
I think Clemson is a little underrated. I have them to win the ACC. I think Georgia has a bunch of suspensions and injuries, right? I don't know if Etienne's playing. I don't know if the other Georgia running back's playing.
Okay.
Now, they're very deep. They're deep everywhere. So that no lie. I think they're going to be forced to pass a lot, right? And then you don't have no McConkey there, no Bowers. Like you're just kind of running into some issues with like familiarity. The other side of it is Clemson, right? Their quarterback is back for a second year. And if you look at the last 5 games of Clemson last year, they smoked teams. Yeah. Clemson woke up. The quarterback kind of figured out their offensive system. So I'm going to be on Clemson. I'm going to ride the 14. I love Clemson first half plus 7.5. I love Clemson 14. I don't think Clemson's going to win, but I just don't. It would, to me, it will be shocking if the final score is 52-28.
Yeah, that'll be shocking.
It would be shocking if it was anything, but anything less is a cover, right? So what are you getting? 49-28? That's not that would be shocking. So you're getting me like 35-31, 38-31, 41-31. Sure, possible. I just think Clemson's live. I think Dabo needs it. Dabo needs to have a good year this year.
He does.
So I'm on Clemson. I just think Clemson's the bet here. It's also not a home game for Georgia. You know,
Yeah, it's not. But this
these
Georgia team,
Clemson kids, these other Clemson kids are look. Georgia, there's only a few programs that can run in Georgia circles. One of them is Clemson with like type of athlete. One is Clemson. The other's Alabama, right?
Past.
Ohio State, Oregon. But Clemson is still in that group. Now, they may be the worst team in that group, but they are in that group. So I like the Clemson quarterback. I think he's at least been better. Give me Clemson.
Well, hey, fair enough, man. I'm gonna disagree with you on this one, though. I think that Georgia team got a big chip on their shoulder. Lost one game down the stretch last year, and they kept us out of the playoff. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they're ready to come out and just shellac somebody. We'll see. We'll see. You make some good points, though. You do make some good points on that. Let's jump to this Penn State West Virginia game. I don't understand this one. This one was I jumped on this one early last week when I did the UNC game as well. It was Penn State -2 at the time. So I jumped on this thing early at Penn State -2. It's now up to -8.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit more where I think this thing should probably be, but I'm still taking Penn State to cover the 8 points here.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't know anything about this I think Penn State's really good. This West Virginia team I don't know anything about ultimately.
No.
I don't know if they're good or I think they're supposed to be bad. But I also think aren't they always kind of good? Aren't they always kind of
They're always
frisky?
scrappy. They're
Right,
always
right.
they'll knock somebody off. Here's what I'll say about Penn State though. In contrast to some of the other teams we've been talking about, now with a 12-team playoff and the Big Ten loaded with Oregon's and Wisconsin and Washington's and USC, and Penn State is a team that the non-conference matters. They cannot lose any because they're going to lose games in conference. And if they want to try to squeak in this 12 team, they got to win this one and win it big. Right.
Well, they definitely have to win it. If they want to get in the playoffs, for sure. It'd be helpful, right?
They can't dump non-conference games.
Right. But it's not like their schedule is impossible. If they dump this game, it's not crazy, right? I just think it's not crazy. Then they got Bowling Green at home, Kent State, Illinois, UCLA. I mean, what are we talking about already? We're right at 4-1 and everyone's humming along, right?
Yeah.
So and then after that, they go to USC. Okay,
maybe,
right?
Tough game.
Maybe.
Tough game.
Then they go to Wisconsin, who I think is going to be bad. Then Ohio State comes to town. Then Washington. Washington to me is over under 6. Look,
they're not. Washington's not going to be great. But Ohio State.
Then they go to Purdue, then Minnesota, and then they finish the season in Maryland, right? It's not an emergency. They're missing Michigan. They're missing
they are missing Michigan.
This game. They're going to make the playoff, and even if they lose, I'm still betting them to make the playoff. I just don't see the game that matters. There's 2 games that matter really. It's USC and Ohio State.
And Ohio State, right? But they're going to need. I think they're going to get this one though. -8. I don't think that's enough.
Right.
I'm all over that.
I love a tease. With Penn State here. So
yeah,
a nice little tease. Even though again you're not supposed to tease college football, this is a nice little spot for it.
Just a nice spot for it, man. Miami. Speaking of a tease here, Miami -2.5 at Florida. I'll tell you this right now. I am on Florida with the money line. I'm on Florida on the upset at home. Everybody thinks they're no good. They have the toughest schedule in college football this year. So this is a game that they really want to try to go out and get early. I like the under here. I don't think either team's going to wow anybody. These are not teams that are going to put a ton of points up in the first week of the season. I think they need to find themselves. But this is a good spot for a tease right here. I mean, take Florida. Yeah. Put 6 on that, puts you at 8.5. What are we doing? Not taking Florida at 8.5. Make it 9.5. Put a point on it. Make it 9.5. That's all day.
I like Miami to win the game. I like Miami to cover. But that's a great tease number. The thing that makes me nervous about it is a couple things. Cristobal, the coach of Miami, it's very hard to trust that guy in general. The other thing is that makes it hard. For me, I'm sure I'm going to get on this game in some way. I'm just not sure yet. As you said, the Florida schedule is brutal. The last 5 are just a monster. It's walking through hell the last 5 games for Florida. So if Florida's going to become bowl eligible, if they're going to save Billy Napier's job, it's truly a must win, right? They got to win this game, and we'll see what kind of coach Billy Napier is. I kind of think it's bye Billy personally, and I think Florida will be looking for a new coach. Hello Deion, maybe if you're not a Cowboy from Florida, blah blah blah. But I'm on Miami. I do think Miami's a good team. I think Miami's, to me, the threat to Clemson to win the ACC. Also, if you're taking a long shot national title team, like a long shot, long shot. Miami's interesting, I think. So we'll see. I'm going to ride Miami early, and I'm going to feel bad when Florida beats them. But I wasn't on them.
Yeah. They should win that game, but for me, the value is hitting Florida on that money line, and that's where I'm going to land on that probably. One other big game during the week, and then we'll run down really quickly. We'll run down some easier ones that I like to bet on and see what you think. But let's hit this USC LSU game. All right, now they're playing this thing where in Vegas. Okay, USC +4, LSU. Listen, the USC is going to have to prove to me. Last year, they were nothing if only Caleb Williams, and that was it. He's gone. You don't have a defense. You're gonna try to sell me that you're bringing in a new quarterback on a team that had no defense and gave up 50 points a game last year, and you're gonna beat LSU in the opener in Las Vegas? I don't think so. Give me the Tigers and let's roll.
USC.
I knew it.
Here's the thing about Lincoln Riley. Don't back him when he's a favorite. You do want to back Lincoln Riley when he's a dog. That is the time, right? Lincoln Riley's USC team is sleepwalking. Their schedule's brutal. Everybody loves LSU. Guess who doesn't love LSU? Me. LSU's I like the under on LSU as a team. I like the over on USC. This is the only way I can bet this game. The other so I'm on USC. I'm probably on the over. I think Lincoln Riley, if you're going to give me Lincoln Riley versus Brian Kelly, I can't wait to take Lincoln Riley. I just cannot wait. He's to me a better coach. Yeah. And especially if the score starts moving up, then yes, then Lincoln Riley's. Then I'm like, now we're playing, right? Now we're going to get a lot of great offense. Brian Kelly's not going to crack the code on offense in that game. I also think the USC quarterback, this is a possible coming out Heisman Trophy party, as in Lincoln Riley. That's all he does with quarterbacks. He wins these dude Heisman. I can't deny that. He throws yards. They get points. Take him now if you're going to take him. Take a shot. I'm grab that quarterback. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's in the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range, or plus. Yeah, plus. So I just think you want to bet USC. We will see. This is a game I'm going to be on USC. We will see. I might get absolutely burnt by LSU here, but the whole world seems to think LSU is going to take them. I'm just going to side with Lincoln. I'm just going to go with the guy I believe. I want to put my money on. I want to put my money on Lincoln.
This is a game I'm probably going to regret, and I should have approached it like a housewife filling out an NCAA bracket, right? I should have, I've met both these guys. I had the opportunity to meet Lincoln Riley twice when he came to Calabasas when I was coaching to recruit some guys. Couldn't have been a nicer guy, more down to earth. I'm genuinely was oh, he's a pretty good dude, man. And Brian Kelly was a complete asshole to me on a recruiting trip. I should against him.
You're putting money.
Week. I don't know why. I hate the guy. He was such an asshole person.
Have you already done it? Have you already done it?
Yeah, I did it already.
No, Miller Moss, by the way, is the quarterback's name. Miller Moss.
I did it already, man. But let's jump to it.
You gotta text me. Text me before you play these random.
I did it already, but I jumped up. I jumped on this one earlier too, Andy. But when it was when they were laying 2 points.
By the way, I think this spread's going to go up. I think it's going to move up. I think more people, when the weekend gets here and starts focusing on that game, they're going to be like, just like you, be like, wait, LSU's going to stomp USC.
Well, listen, I might get really lucky here and be able to dance on your grave because it was LSU -2, and I took them on a teaser. So I've got LSU +4 in the game.
You got it.
Oh, you can't see if you're just listening to this podcast and you're not over on YouTube watching it, you missed Andy's reaction.
You can't do it.
He hates when I do that.
Crossing the line. Why are you crossing the line on a team?
Well, I'm crossing nothing.
That team you can't trust. You cannot trust LSU.
I'm crossing the line on another game this week, Andy, and I'm telling you what, it's Miami of Ohio at Northwestern. Miami of Ohio plus 2.5. I crossed this thing over. Give me Northwestern at 3.5. Come on.
Wait, so you're on Northwestern plus 3.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not just take Northwestern to cover on a field goal? Right? Like, what are we doing?
Because I added because I put it on like a 5-teamer to make it 6, and then I'm going to hit for some more cash on that. Maybe I don't know.
Buddy, this game I'm on Northwestern. But this is like I think Miami Ohio is going to be really bad. I think Northwestern's going to be really bad.
You think Miami Ohio is going to be bad? They're back-to-back MAC champs, man.
I think they're going to be bad this year. That's not. I'm a Bowling Green guy in the MAC this year.
Well, here's the other thing. Bowling Green is good. They're going to be good this year. That's not a bad pick. You're probably going to be right. I am taking Miami, Ohio in this game against Northwestern, also on a separate bet on the money line. I put Florida and Miami, Ohio on a 2-teamer money line.
Okay.
You don't know what you're getting with Northwestern, and Miami, Ohio is a tough football team. They can go in there and they give them a scare, I think.
So you need Miami, Ohio to win by 3, and then you need Florida to win.
Yep.
Okay. All right. You've made a very small path, but it's possible.
I made a real small path on this one, but it's week 1 and I'm just having some fun. I think
it's a stay away game personally, but
yeah,
if anything, I would probably tease Miami of Ohio up, or just take Northwestern to cover, and we'll know at the end of that game if I'll ever bet Northwestern again all year. Because if they lose by like 20, I think I'll be like, no, thank you.
No, thank you. The rest of the way, big time. No, thank you. All right. I'm just going to hit this one more right here that I think is a trap game. Nevada played really well against SMU. They're going to Troy and they're giving Nevada 8.5. I'm telling you right now, Troy's a legitimate team. Troy's legitimate, probably going to crack the top 25 this year out of the Sun Belt. This is a trap game. Everybody's going to be on Nevada. Take Troy.
Yeah. I mean, I like some of that thought, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't know much about Troy this year, though. Troy's one of those teams that every year I don't know much about, and then by like week 7, I'm like, that Troy team's pretty good.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
So they're pretty standard for me in that end.
Yeah, they are. Notre Dame plus 3 at A&M. I forgot this one, Andy. Let's hit this one. Okay. For me, it's an easy. I have Notre Dame on a 7-point teaser. Get Notre Dame plus 10 with a couple of other teams. That's where I'm landing on this thing. I may play Notre Dame on the money line. I don't know yet. I just don't know what to expect out of A&M.
I think that's a good call, but I think I'm taking A&M, right? Like I think I would love to take Notre Dame on the money line. I will probably play both sides of this one in some version. Okay. But it's Duke quarterback at Notre Dame versus Duke coach at Texas A&M. And who does that favor, right? Like, so you can tell me the quarterback, but I don't know. I'll take the new coach. I'm very high on A&M this year as kind of a sleeper team to make the playoffs.
Okay.
So give me also A&M plays all their tough games at home. That crowd is going to be ready to go.
Be ready to go.
And Elko, the new coach, is awesome. It's very similar to what Sparty is bringing in, right? Like to bring in a new coach, he's going to put his style and his stamp. Those teams improve quickly under Elko. I just think for Riley Leonard, I believe is his name, the quarterback of Notre Dame this year, kind of a horrible matchup to start the season against his former coach on national TV against a team that I don't know what weapons Notre Dame really has. You know,
they have one, and it's called defense.
Right. So there you go. So it tells me I do like the under in this game, by the way, as well.
That's a good call.
I like the under in this game, and I like A&M on the probably the money line. I could tease Notre Dame up. I like that play as well. So.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hit 4 other games real quickly here.
By the way, I would say if you're gonna do a little round robin, and everybody knows what a round robin is, right?
Sure.
Where you put 4 teams in. Notre Dame would be one of my round robin teams for sure because it's a nice little.
Yeah. That is. These ones I'm just going to move quick because I think that they're easy money to grab, especially on a teaser. Wyoming plus 6 at Arizona State. Just tease that thing down to a pick 'em and take the Sun Devils at home. Wyoming's tough, but usually at home. Look, right? Give me Arizona State and a pick 'em at home in the opener.
I like Wyoming. Teaser up to 12. Tease them up to 12.
Okay, well that's fair. You're teasing it up to 12. Okay, so
Yeah.
neither one of us is landing on this
Give
thing.
me some room on those two teams who I don't trust either, to be honest. So give me some room.
Right.
Give me some
Well,
room.
that's fair enough. That's probably a fair point. If you don't feel good about it, give me some room. I like that point, Andy. I'll agree with you there. Listen, UTSA laying 25 points at Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State is probably the worst team in college football, and UTSA is called the Road Runners for a reason. They can run up the scoreboard. Give me them laying the 25. Put them on all the teasers. Tease that thing down as well.
Yep, I'm down with it.
Okay, now here's another one I like that people may not be on, but give me Ohio at Syracuse getting 17.5. I don't Syracuse is I don't know what. Okay. And Ohio is notoriously a team in the MAC that is tough. They're physical. They'll grind this thing down. They'll bang it out. To keep it within 17.5, I don't think is crazy.
When I said Miami, Ohio is going to be bad, I meant Ohio is going to be bad.
Oh, okay. You meant the Bobcats.
Bobcats. So I like Syracuse here. I think, by the way, I like UTSA to win by a lot. I don't know if I would tease them down. Like, who cares? I would just take the 25 or whatever. But I like Syracuse. I just think Syracuse is 17. It was lower and it keeps going up. So that tells me a lot of people like Syracuse. So give me Syracuse.
Keep in mind here now that Ohio team, they in the bowl game last year, used all the guys that were coming into this year that were going to take over that team. And they put a beating on a pretty good Georgia Southern team in the bowl game. So I think this is a team that might be okay. I'm going to give you what I think is just going to be a lock. I think this is going to be a lock. Eastern Michigan getting 2.5 at UMass. Tease that thing up to 8.5. This is not going to be a touchdown game. There is no chance. UMass is not a good football team. Eastern should keep this thing within a touchdown. I love this one.
Would it shock you to know I actually have an opinion on this? UMass is bringing back the same quarterback. Eastern Michigan is not bringing back a very similar team at all. This team's bad. It can't stop anybody on defense. I like UMass. I like it to be a little big. I think UMass is going to win this game straight up, and I think UMass may put it on Eastern Michigan.
Okay.
I just think the quarterback, like EMU has their defense is horrible, and I think UMass's quarterback's coming back for a second season. I like those kind of teams, so I'm on UMass.
All right. We'll see about that one coming up. Now, hey, real quick, we got to turn it over to my man, Gordon Butterfield, at What Just Happened to see what's happening this week, man.
What just happened?
What Just Happened is brought to you by the RustBeltClub.com. They make the most comfortable clothes you ever wore, and they're guaranteed to be the most conversational. Put on your Rust Belt gear, and people are guaranteed to get inquisitive. Is that Tom Brady's joint? Where can I grab them cakes? Who won that game? Oh, good morning, counselor. Is that a tooth beer or two? I know that guy. Ho, that's a haunted water park. Abracadabra. And that's the RustBeltClub.com. It's for folks with an inquired taste. It's always a game of chance on the giant water slide, but Janet Kopakowski's ready to see what turns up on the river. And take off. Oh, she's too stiff. That's a bad idea. Fusion surgery. Oh, my. Let's take another look and see where she destroys vertebrae C4 and 5 and 6 and 7. She's sky high and looks like she died 5 days ago. Rigor mortis. Oh, my. Her bat's as red as a beet.
What just happened?
Oh,
wow.
Man.
Wow, I had not seen that one from Gordo. I have a lot of questions. I'm like, why is the water slide a game of chance? Like, it's there as rails. You get in it, and then you just go down and up. And you go.
Yeah.
The game of chances once you get it in the air, I guess.
Yeah, you're taking your life in your own hands on that. Do you see how that lady took off? She injured the hell out of herself. She's 5 stories in the air.
Right. And a couple of those shirts, now I believe those Rust Belt shirts are mostly made up, but Gordon said he knew the running back Grease Lightning in that one.
Yeah.
Which can't be true.
Gordon knows everybody. There's probably a guy, Grease Lightning, that ran out of some northern Arkansas high school back in the early 70s. And, probably something happened to him. He didn't make it, but he probably knows the guy. There's a story there. We'll see if we can get him to tell us maybe.
Maybe, yeah. And also tooth beer. That's the one I did agree with. It did look like a tooth beer.
Yeah, that's a tavern, and they have molar-shaped glasses they serve beers in out of there. So
For sure. Yeah, I like that one.
he's a trip, man. That'll be all season long there, guys. We got Gordon Butterfield. We got some new sponsors coming on. We got some new ads he's going to cut for him with Slice of Life Americana like that, man. And he's on the call. Retired minor league baseball Hall of Fame announcer Gordon Butterfield, man. We love you, Gordon. We'll be seeing him all week. Now, Andy, I know we have maybe 10 minutes here. Run through this AFC as fast as we can. And let's get out on this.
Let's do it. But before we do, I want to do it. Just wrap up a little college football.
Yeah.
I want to say Heisman. Just if you're voting, can I give you my advice? Is wait if you can. If you can. Let a month go, and then you can kind of see what teams are good generally. That's like I think you're wasting money betting on it now. But if you wanted to waste money, and you're into wasting money. Can we get a little Miller Moss USC quarterback plus 3,500? I love it.
Okay, put $5 on it.
Then maybe Milrow at 1,000. Jackson Dart for Ole Miss. Give me that guy. And the other guy is the UT quarterback Nico. I think is going to be really good.
You're out on Dylan Gabriel.
The odds are horrible. I'm not out on Dylan Gabriel, but I'm betting the odds. You got to be double digits at least in this Heisman for me to get into you. So that's why I like Milrow, Dart. Nico for UT, and then my long shot is going to be the USC quarterback because Lincoln Riley he's the whisperer ultimately.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a bad bet at all, man. I would take that bet all day long. I agree with you on that one, brother.
National title, real quick. Just things I like, and I have put a little money on these. I think getting Georgia at 3-1 is a good deal.
Yeah,
got to do it. I like that. I am lower on Ohio State, but I am taking them as a future. I think their defense is awesome. I'm not sure about the offense, so I would take them. The other team I like a lot is Oregon and Alabama. Those are my 4 teams. It's not like way on a limb.
Sure.
But those are, if I was taking some long shots, give me Miami at 4,000, A&M at 4,000, and give me one team in particular. Oh, give me Clemson at 5, but be careful. Obviously, we'll see what Clemson looks like. If Clemson looks good against Georgia and barely loses, that number's not going up. That number's going down. So this is your kind of time to hedge with a little bit with Clemson. The Missouri Tigers at 4,000. Don't think they're going to win, but I don't think I've ever seen a lower odds, and I've been following and loving the Missouri Tigers for my whole life. So I got to do it. Probably, I guarantee it's a waste of money, but go Tigers.
Could be, man. It's going to, with the new 12-team playoff, Andy, it is no longer about who's the best team or who's the hottest team coming in. It's absolutely going to be who's the healthiest.
Yeah, well, here's the other spot. If you want to bet a future on the national title, wait till it gets when the 12-team playoff is put out. See who the 5 seed is, because just think about this: that 5 seed is going to be an SEC team or a Big Ten team. That 5 seed is going to be a home game. They're going to play the G12 team, their G5 team at 12. Right. Then when they win that game, they're going to either play the ACC champion or they're going to play the Big Ten champion. So let's imagine it's Alabama. Let's imagine it's Georgia. It's going to be sitting there at 5. They're going to beat Liberty. Then they're going to go beat Clemson. Then they're going to go beat Utah, K-State, Iowa State, Miami. They're going to beat those teams. Then they're in the Final Four, and then it's anybody's game, right?
Sure.
That's just what. So then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, right? So whoever. So the 5 slot to me, you also get a nice little draw. I like the 5 seed to make some noise.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's a very good point right there, man. Very good point. I see it the same way, especially when you see these graphics on TV and they're laid out with all the seeds and things like that. Yeah, that plays out exactly like you're saying.
Let's say K-State wins the Big 12 and is the 4 seed. Let's say Georgia is the 5 seed.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you in the Final Four. Or Alabama. You probably get me on Ole Miss. You can probably get me on Tennessee. You can get me on Missouri.
The only mention that thing will be if Notre Dame has a killer season, they're locked into 5. That'll be the only monkey wrench, and then they'll have a run. So if they have a great season, they're in the same position of being great.
Right. Then Notre Dame gets the home game. Then Notre Dame's got to go to K-State. Give me Notre Dame.
Yeah, give me Notre Dame. Right. Give me Notre Dame. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Very good tips, man. Very good things right there for you guys to be paying attention to Andy St. Clair on these things, man. Do that and put some money in your pocket. No doubt about it. Let's run quickly through the AFC. I know we're on and out here. We got to get moving. Let's just go fast. The AFC East. Okay. You're either in on the Bills, the Jets, or Miami, right? The Bills are plus 195. Jets are 165. Miami plus 205. I don't understand Miami only being a $10 difference from the Bills. Everybody's on the Jets. Give me the Bills here until it's not the Bills anymore. I'll go Bills plus 195.
I go Jets. Jets schedule is kind of ridiculous early. It's hard late, but it's ridiculous early, especially if you assume. Just give you the Jets schedule. Look, they go to San Francisco. I'm going to tell you right now. I am taking the Jets at plus 4.5, 5.5 at San Francisco. If you want to play San Francisco, do it early, right?
Yeah.
Trent Williams out. Ayuk in trouble. McCaffrey hurt. Elijah Mitchell, the backup, hurt, right? You're putting a lot on Purdy and Debo. Love the Jets in week 1. We'll take the money line. We'll also take the 4.5. Let's just say they lose that game, though, right? Just say they lose. Then they go to the Titans. Then they got the Pats. Then the Broncos, the Vikings. Then their first other real game is at home versus the Buffalo Bills, which I think they'll win that game, right? Then after that, they go to the Steelers, who I think is not going to be great. Then they go to the Pats. Then they got the Texans who come there, who they're pretty good. We'll see. Then they go to Arizona, then the Colts, then the Seahawks, then they go to the Dolphins, then they go to the Jags, then the Rams, then the Bills, and then the Dolphins. So my point is the Jets build up early wins. They're going to build it up.
They need to do that. Here's my thing, and I won't get long-winded on the Jets, is I understand they have one of the best defenses in the league. Listen, I am not one of these people that's looking at Aaron Rodgers like he's Aaron Rodgers of 5 years ago. This guy's older. This guy's coming off a serious injury. This guy's not played football in a year. He's 41 years old. Listen, I'm not saying he can't, but I'm going to need to see it.
Yeah, but also that team went 7-10 last year with Zach Wilson. And
sure.
I think Rodgers is worth 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's fair enough.
And also the Dolphins, look, the Dolphins schedule is brutal as well, and it's differently brutal, but it's brutal.
Yeah, Jets over 9.5 is probably the best bet in this conference.
Yeah, and if you're taking 10, 10 wins going to win that division.
Yeah.
Maybe 11. So I like the Jets at 165. The Pats to me are going to be the worst team. Don't do the worst.
The worst. They'll be the worst. Nobody's unsold on Miami.
Right. And Miami, the other thing about Miami too is it's for the next 3 or 4 years of our life, they're just going to be a classic 9-8 team. I don't want to bet that team.
Yeah, and I'm not touching that over under at 9.5. I'll jump on the Jets at plus 9.5. Let's move to the AFC South because I think there's a big point to be made here.
Okay.
This division is going to be ugly this year, very ugly, because they have the misfortune of drawing the NFC North and the AFC East and 2 games against NFC East opponents. So you've got the Jags are going to have to play the Lions, the Bears, the Packers. Then they're also going to have to play the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins. And then they're also going to play Philadelphia and, Washington maybe or whatever. But these schedules, look through these schedules for the AFC South. They're abysmally tough for these level of teams. So for me, I'm taking the Jags to win the division at plus 250 based on those schedules. I'm out on the Texans. I went down their schedule and I'm like, no, sir. No, sir. I don't see it. I don't see it. Usually a team like this takes a step back, right, Andy? I'll expect them to be as good, maybe as good, but the schedule is way tougher.
Yeah, I'm on a different side. I'm on CJ Stroud to win the MVP. I'm on CJ Stroud plus 1,000. I think that's a great. I think CJ Stroud leads the league in passing touchdowns. A good bet at 700, 800, 900,000, whatever it is.
Love Stroud.
Stroud.
He was my guy in that draft.
Look, here's the thing about MVP. Stroud, it's not going to go to Mahomes unless Kansas City goes 15-2. Then maybe it's not going to go to Lamar. Probably not going to go to Burrow. He's going to win comeback player of the year. Probably not going to go to Hurts. Possible though, right? So and the other thing is if it's a Josh Allen, that Buffalo needs to win 12 or 13 games.
Yeah,
a team that can do it is the Houston Texans, right? I think in that division,
tough schedule.
I think the Colts are a little overhyped right now. Everybody loves Anthony Richardson in that line. That dude's played 5 games. And what's happening, right? He can't throw. He couldn't throw at Florida. All right. So then you got the Jags. Wake me up when Doug Peterson did 1 Super Bowl title. Outside of that, Doug Peterson has not been very good. Also, who are the Jags throwing to? Brian Thomas Jr.? Maybe, right? But who else? What wide receiver? So
they got the benefit of a little bit better schedule, though. I'm going to tell you that right now. The Colts I'm out on. everybody's like, oh, they're going to build on last year. You kidding me? You're turning it over to a guy who played 4 games last year, got knocked out because the way he plays football. And you're telling me coming in, Richardson was one of these gambles where it's going to take him some time to learn to play. He only started like 6 games in college. You're telling me he's going to take over this team last year and they're going to move forward? No. Give me the under on the 8.5 wins for the Colts right now.
Sure. I like
Not
that.
with that schedule.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I also kind of think that the team that may surprise in this division is the Titans. Like, I know everybody thinks they're going to be terrible, but if they get through their first tough games, which is the beginning, if they like, let's just imagine week 1, they go and upset the Bears, which is not impossible. The Bears are not. The Bears aren't.
The way they can grind it out, they could.
They got a lot of good dudes. Levis can come in there, maybe throw it deep. Like I kind of like the Titans a little more than most people this year. I also think we will know in week 1 if they go in to beat Chicago, which I think everybody's just marking the Bears as a victory.
Oh,
not me.
Listen, the Bears hype is out of control.
So I just think that one is an interesting choice for me.
Yeah, I watching a little bit of this Hard Knocks and watching Caleb Williams saying it on the field and going, oh, I don't get nervous. I just ball. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. Come on into Detroit when the place is packed and you're playing the Detroit Lions, and we'll see if you're not nervous because you're just Caleb Williams. We'll see.
Right. I like, by the way,
Lambeau. We'll see.
I like the Texans. I like the Texans to win the division. Wouldn't even bet. I bet some division winners. I stayed away from this one because I think the Texans are going to win this one. So I think they're going to. Also, I think they're going to be like 12-5.
Also, when I put this list together, it was Jags at plus 250. But when I was looking through some bets this morning, it is now at Jags 325.
Nobody trusts the Jags. No, you can't trust the Jags. I just don't trust Doug Peterson to fucking pick up my mail. I'm not trusting to run
That's
that.
Fair enough. I don't have any evidence to contradict you on that. I just looking through the schedules. I just think the Jags drew a couple easier games, and I'm going to take them to edge out Texas by 1 game.
CJ Stroud MVP. CJ Stroud MVP.
That's a great bet. That's a great bet. You know, by the way, I did put the $5 on Michael Penix to win Rookie of the Year. Why not? It was like at plus 4,000. So
exactly.
Yeah. Let's hit the AFC North. Ravens are 10.5 over/under wins. I mean, over, right? I'm going through their schedule. Like, and they're going to get to 11. They're going to get to 11 games, I think. You know, Cincinnati's at 10.5. Then you got here's my pick of the AFC right here. Jump on this right now. Browns over/under 8.5. Over. Look at their schedule. They have the best defense in football. Their running game, one of the best offensive lines. They lost their running back last year, still pounded it out. Watson didn't play well. If he takes one step forward and you could run the ball and play defense, they're getting to 9 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I love that bet.
Okay. And what about the Steelers? What are you doing?
Steelers are at 8.5. I'm under, man. This is going to be the first losing season for them. I'm not betting them to win 9 games, or I just stay away from it. I'm not betting them to win 9 games.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's my first time betting the under on the Steelers, and I feel terrible about it because it's scary.
Yeah, I just can't. I am putting $5 on the Browns at plus 550 to win the division. This division is going to eat itself. It's going to come down to games outside the division. And listen, I really think this thing's going to come down to Ravens win 12, Cincy wins 11, Browns win 11 or 12. It's going to be a 1-game thing. If I think it's coming down to 3 teams, it's going to come down to 1 game. Andy, give me the $5 on the plus 550.
I like the Ravens. I like the Bengals to win this division. Again, I keep saying it. 4th place schedule. 4th place schedule. Their schedule is also the Ravens defensive coordinator, who was awesome, is now the head coach at Seattle. Also, the Ravens have the 24th or 25th ranked O-line. So, like, it's just too many moving parts for me in the Ravens. I think the Ravens win about 10. I like a little bit. If I was betting it, which I'm not, I'd bet the under. So, Give me the Bengals over. Give me the Ravens push/under. I am out on the Browns. I like the Browns under. I think
under 8.5.
Yes, the defense is awesome, but the coach and the quarterback, this is the team that these 2 things don't meld together. The coach wants to run a certain style offense. Watson can't run that offense.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you on the coach.
Run that offense or Joe Flacco.
It's the Watson thing to me. Yeah, I agree with you. It's the Watson thing to me.
When Joe Flacco runs that offense, the Browns look awesome. When Watson comes in, he doesn't want to run 12. He wants to run 11 and kind of figure it out from there, right? And improvise. He can't do 12. That's why he's been terrible for the Browns.
Yeah.
His
Well,
coach and his quarterback don't meld. Give me the under. I think the Browns defense is very, very good. I just don't. I'm
they
not
blew it. The Browns blew it 3 years ago. They just blew it 3 years ago. They had a Super Bowl team. They had a Super Bowl team, Super Bowl contender. You should have kept Baker Mayfield, Super Bowl contender, and you went out and you got Captain Rapey Pants, and this thing's gone downhill ever since. I mean, it's just a bad move. Bad move. Gave him the most money ever. I'm going to let it go. Quickly, we're done here in the AFC West. It's the Chiefs all day. I'm not betting anybody to win this division because it's Chiefs minus 260. The Chiefs over under is 11.5. Give me the over on that all day. They get the 13 wins with the schedule they got this year, I think. The only bet that I kind of like in this division, I think I might put some money on, is Chargers over 8.5 wins. I think the Chargers get to 9 in Jim's first year.
Great coach. I like the under though. Great coach, but I'm on the under.
Okay.
I think Harbaugh's it's tear it down to the studs kind of thing. Like I think if he really wanted to get up there, they take neighbors. They take, they take a wide receiver to help Herbert, and then they just try to outscore you and play. Didn't do that. He took Joe Alt. He took a lineman, and I think he's going to build it that way. And I think he's just going to tear it down. And look, they have the easiest schedule in football. The team's not Navy. They're going to throw the ball. It's not Navy, right? Everybody's like, Harbaugh's just going to run. Like, he
got to throw,
but he's going to throw. And so
he's got Herbert when he does.
Right. I think look, I'm on the under, but you could talk me into the over. I'd probably stay away from me. I think it's just, what do you think Harbaugh's going to try to do? I think he's going to tear it down personally. And I think they're going to build up the next few years to battle the Chiefs. That's why I like the under on this team. Broncos, I would take the over, but not by a lot.
No.
If you're going to take a surprise team that's not the Chiefs in this division, I would guess I would lean Raiders, but don't love the Raiders either. So
no, plus 2,200.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? Because what you'd be betting on is like a Mahomes injury and the Raiders are good. So that's what you're betting on. So it's a stay away overall in that whole thing. I think, do I think the Chiefs hit the over? I don't know. Chiefs early, don't care. So I kind of like the Ravens on Thursday. I'm sure we'll talk about it next week. I'll probably be on +3, but this is maybe the one team the Chiefs would care about is beating the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like they don't care about a lot of teams, but the Ravens, they do care about a little bit.
I want to beat them to send a message, no doubt.
So I guess I lean Chiefs over, but I'm probably staying away from that.
Okay. All right. Well, for me, listen, we'll just go right to the FC Championship game. I am going to have the Chiefs and the Bills. I think we got another showdown coming. This is going to be the last hoorah for Josh Allen. I'm going to take the Bills. I don't see another team here in the AFC. Ravens will implode. Should be the Ravens, but they'll do something. I've 100 times I've hit it on the show, and I'm not going to beat it today. Ravens will find themselves down 10 points in the playoffs, and the game's over because you can't stop the clock. Right. It's a running clock on every play they run, and then you're done. You get out in front of them, you beat them. Everybody knows it. No one says it on any other shows. They won't say that. It's always, I don't know what happens in the playoffs. They just don't play well. No, I'll tell you, we know what happens in the playoffs, and we aren't afraid to say it. You get down and your offense revolves around the clock, never stopping, you can't win. But that's it. And I'm going to take the Chiefs to make a run at 3 in a row.
Well, that's the most fun bet, right? I think you should. I think everybody should do it just because it would be fun, right?
Yeah.
So for sure, I'll be on that. I'm also going to be on. I think it's Chiefs Bengals.
That's fair enough.
I think if you really want to bet, I bet Bengals will get the 1 seed.
Okay.
Because I think that Bengals schedule, like the real issue is Burrow's wrist injury is very scary. So if he's okay, just look at their schedule. It's a joke. It is bad.
Yeah.
So
we're set up for a Super Bowl in my book that is going to be NFL moments. Like it's going to be historic either way because the Chiefs are going to be the first team to try to win 3 Super Bowls in a row, and the Detroit Lions are trying to win the first Super Bowl in franchise history.
Yeah, it's going to be. I like Bengals, Chiefs, Lions, Eagles. Maybe could talk me in San Francisco, but I doubt it. And then. Yeah, so to me, those 4 teams I'm circling. The Bills are kind of on the outside for me, but they could get invited to my
first year they're really being counted out. This is why I'm taking them.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. Well, I like going when everybody's out. You're going in. I like that stuff.
And they got rid of the headache in the locker room. I think that's a big deal for a team like that. Yeah. So, Anyway, man, that's our AFC picks, guys. That's the NFC, our NCAA Week 1 picks. They're in. You can always rewind the thing if we went too fast for you. Comb through it, make your picks. Let us know what you think on the social media sites. We're across all of them. It's DWMOD Pod on every single one of them. You can't mess it up. We'll be back next week with our special guest, Jerron Horton. We'll be teasing that, but Jerron Horton is a comedian and he was a writer on the Tom Brady roast. You guys do not want to be missing this. It is going to be a lot of fun. Next week, week 1, Big 6 picks are coming, Andy, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Let's go football.
Yeah, brother. For another episode of All Right Bet.